to Entravision's presentation of the KEEP program, which is, you're going to see, is probably the most exciting and innovative marketing solution going on in El Paso right now. And my name is David Candelaria. I'm Executive Vice President for Entravision, West Texas. And today is all about you and your business. Where are you now? Take a few seconds to look at the screen. Where would you like to be? And how can you improve on what you've got going on now in your advertising to take to where you want to go? And why is that important to us here at Entravision? It's really simple. We want to partner with those local businesses like yourselves who want to be successful and succeed with us. You know, we're only successful if we create the best possible vehicle for you to communicate to your potential customers. Our success is directly tied to your success. It's a win-win philosophy, you will. And that's why it makes sense to partner with local businesses like yours that we can best help succeed and grow with. Today's, like I said, is about you and your business. It's time to take some time out to work on it, not just in it. There you go. So if you take a minute just to turn down your cell phones like I just did, so we can continue. Now I don't want any disruption because you guys are going to be totally focused and engaged with this. We're going to be hearing from our guest speaker from NRSV in a few minutes to discuss the 3 secrets of effective advertising in radio, television, and internet. We also will present you with a marketing strategy designed to help you get to where you want to be in your business. And these questions are the questions you should evaluate and judge the program by. Would you want a solution designed to help you find new customers, keep them, and grow them? Will the KEEP program solution help you resolve some of your current marketing issues? And will the solution take you towards your 12-month goals? And if you answer yes to any of these questions, chances are this program is going to be a really good fit for you and your business. In order for you to fully appreciate what Entravision is all about, I've got a short video on who we are and what we do.
Yikes.
Hispanic base makes El Paso the most unique city in the United States. El Paso, Texas, the biggest small town in the United States, an all-American city with an 80% Hispanic base, makes El Paso the most unique city in the United States, requiring a unique voice. That's where we come in. Entravision Radio, with a full-service lineup of radio and television stations, capturing the minds of the city we serve. Our general market property, 92.3 The Fox, plays all classics all day for the affluent adult listener. The Fox offers a blend of music from the 60s through the 90s that is as unique as El Paso itself. We pride ourselves on our community involvement, from daily service information for our listeners to our award-winning Battle on the Border for local musicians, listener-oriented promotions and events, prize giveaways, and for our involvement as the voice of the UTEP miners. Talk Radio 1150 presents a unique blend of the most popular national talk shows of today, combined with local talk and information. Jose 93.9, a top regional Mexican and Spanish adult 18 through 49 contemporary kids from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. Jose is a cutting-edge radio format that allows the station to become the personality, not just a personality on the radio. El Gato is a rhythmic regional Mexican station targeting a younger generation of audience. The core sound of the station includes Duranguense, Banda, and Cumbia, and all styles that are part of the Grupero movement, including the Alterado movement. El Gato features great on-air talent such as Erasmo y Chocolata and a local morning show, El Show de Mario y Matute. Maria's 1650 AM, a top Spanish adult 18 to 34, with the best of today's contemporary hits. Maria is simply your at-work station. When it comes to television, KINT and Univision air the best in Spanish language programming and is the clear leader in national audience delivery. KINT delivers the #1 local news in El Paso and is the clear-cut #1 in quality. Telefutura focuses on the young male audience with blockbuster primetime movies and intense sports coverage, including soccer. El Paso's newest Spanish-language TV station, Mundo Fox, targets the younger bilingual Hispanic with great programming, including retro novellas and brand new game shows. Entravision Radio, television, and you, a winning combination for El Paso business.
A couple of quick footnotes. Maria 1650 will be changing to ESPN, Deportes, Sports in Spanish, in January. And Mundo Fox was just launched about 6 weeks ago. We will be on the cable system in November. Just to give you a quick synopsis about Mundo Fox, comes from Fox Network. And they're spending about $50 million in promotional value across the country to promote that network, which is significant. That includes billboards, print, radio, television, to get the word out, just so you know. And as you can see, we're very proud of our presence in the community. And just like you, we're always looking for ways to improve what we do for our customers and our audience as well. And to that end, we've been working with a company called NRS Media. Now, NRS Media has had worldwide success in creating new business for companies just like yours through more efficient and effective ways of advertising through television, radio, and internet. And using their expertise, we've made available all our media properties to package to help you get to where you want to be. So to take you through the keys of effective advertising, I want to introduce Michelle Perlow from NRS Media, and she's got a bucket full of names so we can draw for tickets. Do you have that for Vernon? Verón? We send it, Verón.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yes. Yes.
So that looks like a V.
Cute.
Tickets to
You got a good one. Okay, well, good morning, everybody. As David said, I'm here to talk to you about the 3 keys of effective advertising today. But before we talk about that, I just wanted to bring up a topic that seems to be on everybody's mind. You cannot watch the news channels without hearing about it, and that's the economy, right? We are operating in an economic downturn, although things are getting better, and although I understand that El Paso was never hit as hard as the rest of the nation, I know as local business owners, you know, this economy can be difficult for your business. So the question is, what will you do, what do you do in the face of an economic downturn, right? So there's 2 things you can do. The first thing is you can kind of retreat, right? You can kind of get nervous, you can pull back your advertising money, and you can sit around and hope that things get better, right? But as one of my old bosses always used to say to me, Michelle, hope is a very bad business plan, right? So the other thing you can do is go on the offensive. You can get out there, you can maintain the advertising dollars you're spending, or in fact, increase the spending in the marketplace. And every research study that's been done for any economic downturn proves the same thing. This chart happens to be from the 81-82 recession, but for those businesses that maintained or increased their advertising spending during an economic slowdown, not only did they gain market share during that period of time, but in the years following. So the questions are, what if you could compete like the big guys, but on a smaller budget, pull better valued customers away from your competition, and avoid common advertising pitfalls that many local business owners find themselves in. But before I do that, I just want to clear up a couple of misconceptions about advertising. So who's ever said or hear people say, well, advertising doesn't work? For sure, nobody in this room would say that, right? Or what people say is, you know, I know half of my advertising is working, I'm just not sure which half, right? But the truth is that advertising does work, because if it didn't work, all these large national advertisers just wouldn't spend the amount of money that they do on it, and certainly the large local advertisers and some of the smaller ones as well. So here they are. I'm going to give away all the secrets at the beginning of the presentation. The 3 keys to effective advertising are: have commitment and consistency, speak to the right audience, and have the right message. So before I talk about that, let's talk for a moment about what is the purpose of advertising. What's the purpose?
Draw traffic.
Draw traffic, right? So, get what?
Generate revenue.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm only laughing, she knows that answer. But the truth is, when I travel around, my two main answers. Number one, I want to increase revenue and sales. And actually, the number two message I usually hear is, get my name out in the marketplace. But by far, people say, I want to increase revenues. But the truth is, it's simpler than that, right? All the purpose of advertising is you're putting a message out in the marketplace in order to get a specific response, right? You want to tell people something about your business, and you want them to react in a specific way, right? But the truth is, all good advertising can do is bring you new customers, right? Advertising doesn't close the business for you. It brings you the customers, and then you need to close the business yourself. So the pitfall that many local advertisers fall into is now they start measuring the effectiveness of their advertising campaign based on whether or not their revenues increase. So I'm going to give you an example. Here we are. Whatever the business or retail store or service industry that you're in, what business are you in now?
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics. What about you? Restaurant. What kind of industry? Entertainment. Okay, good. So whatever your product or service is, right, here's how it goes. Somebody comes in to do business with you, and we all have an expectation, right? Whatever it is, we expect a good experience, right? So we would choose to come to you if we didn't expect to have a good experience. So here we go. We go to your place of business. We expect a good experience, and we have a good experience, right? Everything works out fine. We went in with that expectation level, and guess what? You met it. So now I leave, and you met my expectation level. What happens?
You might come back.
They might come back, right? That person might come back, right?
Yeah,
But
good about you.
there's times they might, if somebody asked, they would say nice things about you, right? So now let me say it in another way. Same thing, you go to a particular place of business, you have a certain expectation level, and your expectation level is well exceeded, right? You have an amazing experience, people are so friendly, you get what you're looking for, the service is amazing, all good things, right? Fantastic experience. So now what happens?
You might come back.
Well, not only might they come back, right, if you have an amazing experience, right, you might tell one or two people, right? You know, because you had a great experience. So you may tell one or two people. Okay, same scenario. You go, expectation level is you're going to have a good experience. Only now you have a bad experience. You're disappointed, the people weren't friendly, the food wasn't cooked the way you wanted it, you had to wait too long, whatever it is. Now you're disappointed. You expected a good experience and you don't have one. So now what happens?
You tell them about people.
You tell a bunch of people, right? Because that's how it goes. You know that old saying, good news travels fast, but bad news, woo, watch out, right? That bad news is traveling so fast that on your way home, you're telling everybody you can see on the street and all your 18 neighbors, right? You cannot believe what happened, it was horrible. Okay, so this is how it goes. So then when I travel and local business owners say to me, you know what, I'm not going to spend that much right now, I'm going to wait and see. I rely on word of mouth advertising. Then I say to them, well, A, I hope that everybody that comes to do business with you has an amazing experience. And then I really hope they tell more than the one or two people they would normally tell, because they need to tell hundreds and hundreds of people, right, in order for you to even come close to getting your message out there. And then I say the same thing about social media, right, and everything else that's going on. Because people can post whatever they want to post about your business, right? Some of it good, some of it bad. But just like in my example, people, you know, if you have a good experience, you tell one or two people. When you have a bad experience, you tell 400. When people have a bad experience, they can't wait to get on their computers anymore, right? They just want to post something negative about you because now they're annoyed. If they're happy, they don't think, let me run to the computer and tell somebody, right? But when you're annoyed, whoo-hoo. Okay, so now they say something negative, and then 15 people go, like it, like it, like it, like it, right? So I'm not knocking social media because it's here to stay and it's a good tool. And you need to know what people are saying about you, and you need to have the positive and the negative input. But the point is, you need to spend money on your own advertising so you control the message that's going out in the marketplace about your business, right? You're not relying solely on what other people are saying about you. The first key. The first key is to have commitment and consistency. So here's how I'm going to explain it, and I feel like maybe I'm making a mistake here, but I'm going to pick on you, Mark, okay? Maybe.
I can be fair.
Maybe, might be beyond my better judgment, but I'm going to pick on you in this example. Okay, so you are coming out of a store, you're in a parking lot, you're unloading your packages in your car. Now you don't know me, you've never met me, okay? I have to clarify this because people always say something crazy. You don't know me, you never met me, but I come over to you and I say, hey, you know, I live on the east side, my husband and I are having a party on Saturday night, you want to come? What do you say?
I don't know.
Good! Yay! Usually the guy's going, yeah, I'll come. I'm like, no. Finally, he gives the right answer. Okay, good. Okay, so he goes, I don't know, right? He looks at me like I have 12 heads, because I do. He doesn't know me from a hole in the wall, right? I've come up to him. So you're not coming. You don't even know me.
You forget how I hurt my foot.
Oh, that's right. Right. I forgot, he already has women issues. Okay, so now same thing. Now I'm coming up to you in the parking lot. You've met me before, once or twice, and maybe I talk to you every 4 or 5 months. But you know who I am, but we're not that friendly. Okay, hey, Mark, we're having a party this weekend, Eastside, my husband and I, you want to come?
Sure.
All right, that was a little aggressive, but sure, okay, you'll come. Some people say, yeah, maybe I'll come, maybe I won't come, but he's willing to come. But now my third scenario. Okay, now you and I know each other really well. We talk every week or two, and now I invite you to my party, and I see you, hey Mark, you want to come? My husband and I are having a party on the east side. You want to come?
Is that other girl coming? Because if you knew him, you wouldn't invite him. That's true. See how we did? Yes, of course I'll come.
I knew it was against my better judgment to call him. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have gone with my gut. No, of course you'll come, right? And as a matter of fact, I probably don't even have to tell you I live on the east side, because you already know me, you know where I am, right? So your advertising messages work in very much the same way, right? When you put your advertising invitations out into the marketplace, that's what establishes the connection with people, right? The more you speak to them, the more they get to know you, the more comfortable they are with you, right? The more they want to do business with you. If they don't know who you are, and you invite them to some kind of sale or promotion, well, they don't even know who you are, right? And I'm going to talk about this a couple of times throughout the presentation, but it's all about establishing that emotional connection. Because every buying decision we make, every purchase we make, is based on emotion. You don't think about it at the time, but from the smallest thing to the biggest thing, you have choices. You can pick from a number of different manufacturers, different stores, different restaurants, right? Whatever it is. You pick what you pick based on how you feel about that business. Okay, so here's what we see most local advertisers doing. Here's the typical pattern. You have some need to generate some extra income, you may have some extra inventory, you want to run some kind of sell promotion, and here's what you do, right? You start to advertise, you get your level of awareness up a little bit in the, in the community, in the marketplace, and then, you're done with your little window of sale or promotion, and you stop. And then a couple of months go by, and same thing happens again. You have a need to increase revenue, sales, whatever, extra inventory, whatever the case may be, and you do the same thing again. The thing about this is people advertise in this manner because they actually think it's very cost effective, right? They don't want to spend a lot of money. Okay, we have a specific promotion or event. We're just going to spend the money on that little window and then we're going to stop. But in fact, this is an incredibly expensive way to advertise. For one thing, you're not ever getting your level of awareness up high enough in the community, which is what you need to do, right? To have more people know about who you are and feel good about who you are. The second pitfall, by the way, is what's happening when you're not advertising. Well, one of your competitors might be, right? Other people are advertising all the time. So out of sight, out of mind. It just is how it is, right? In today's world, there's so many messages coming at us all the time. You need to constantly be in front of everybody. Now, the other thing is that you think it's cost effective. But in fact, when you advertise this way, usually you're calling kind of, right before the event or promotion. So you have no idea how the inventory is in the station, and you usually pay higher rates. Just like any other business, the people that get the best rates are the ones that are consistent users of that product or service. And now, not only are you not their biggest advertisers, which maybe I'm being too harsh by saying that, but you're not advertising regularly, but when you come at the last minute, you don't know what the inventory situation will be, so you typically spend more money. So the more effective and the most effective buying pattern, for those of you especially who are in business for the long term, is to build up your brand equity, right? Build a brand equity platform. So when you are consistently out in the marketplace with your messages, number one, you're able to get your level of awareness up high enough so people know who you are. And then, if and whenever you have a need to run any kind of sales promotion, well now, people know who you are, they feel good about who you are, hopefully, and now they're willing to come and buy your product or service. The master of this kind of marketing is McDonald's, right? They've been around forever. Well, forever in my lifetime, and I'm old. So, they have had only a limited number of branding campaigns since the 1980s, really. There's just been a handful of them. You deserve a break today. They're laughing, they've heard me say this. You deserve a break today, love to see you smile, and now we're all loving it, right? So, Mark is laughing. But the thing is, I always say, I'm loving what? I'm loving it about a hamburger, right? What does that even mean? I'm loving a mediocre hamburger and mediocre food, but I'm loving it, right? They have taught us all how to love it. We feel good about McDonald's, right? When we see it, whether we think it's the best food or the worst food, most people go to a McDonald's, right? And then when they run some kind of promotion, whether it's for their mango smoothie, their kids meal, their whatever, their dollar meal, right? People are much more likely to come in and take advantage of it. So the second key is to speak to the right audience. And many advertisers make this mistake, many large national advertisers make the same mistake, because they try to be all things to all people, and you can't do that, right? You need to know who you're speaking to, okay? So your message is going to be very different if you're speaking to young mothers in their 30s and 40s with young children and a mortgage to pay, then your message will be to a bunch of young single women who are drinking 3 nights a week, right? So that's another reason why a strategic partnership with Entrevision is so effective, because they have people on staff that are experts at knowing how to craft the right message and speak to the right people. We all have shopping radar. So, at any given point in time, there's a limited amount of things that are on our own personal shopping radar, right? You know, we're only thinking about a few things that we may want to buy. And in fact, we may know specifically where we want to buy it, or we might just have the item on our mind and we're going to decide between 2 or 3 or 4 vendors where we're going to go. So on the shopping radar really are our today customers, right? Because that's the immediate customer that we're talking to, and that's on our immediate shopping radar. So these are the people that are going to come in today or in the very near future and do business with us. But then we also have all those tomorrow customers, right? So those are people who may not have a specific need for our product or service right now, today, or in the immediate future, but they will at some point in the not so distant future. So the thing is that you need to speak to both your today and tomorrow customers in your marketing and advertising. Because for every today customer that you have an infinitely greater amount of tomorrow customers, right? Those are the customers that you also need to be speaking to. But what we typically see local businesses doing is advertising strictly to their today customers and ignoring their tomorrow customers, right? And the other thing they do is they speak to their today customers typically by some kind of sale or promotion, right? Because you're trying to get people in the door today. I get that, right? You want the money now. That makes perfect sense. But here you can run into 2 pitfalls. Number 1, you're speaking only to your today customer, ignoring all your tomorrow customers, that infinitely greater amount of people that are going to come into business with you one day, hopefully, right? But the other thing is when you rely solely on some kind of special event, sale, or promotion to get people to come and see you, well then what happens, right? You can train them to only come see you when you have a sale or promotion. So I've used this example a number of times already, but it really is true for me, so it resonates, so I know you'll believe me, because I love the Gap, right? I think that the Gap has great clothes, and when my kids were younger and to this day, I always shop at the Gap. But when I used to shop at the Gap, and I would go in and there'd be a really cute outfit, and it was $29, $39, whatever it is, I thought it was, it didn't bother me. It was an adorable outfit. I thought it was worth $39, right? So I'd go to the Gap and I'd buy the outfit. And, invariably I'd be back in the Gap a week or 2 later because I have like a very active shopping radar. So I live in Atlanta, so we have malls everywhere, and every mall has a Gap, and every corner has a Gap, right? So I would go to the Gap every couple of weeks. And what would happen, no matter what, whatever the outfit was that I bought, I'd go 2 weeks later, a week later, it didn't matter. On the sale rack, $9.99. It didn't matter, it was amazing, right? So in the beginning I'm thinking, I must have really bad taste because nobody else wants what I want. It's always winding up on the sale rack. But then what I quickly realized was everything winds up on the sale rack. Everything. So not only did everything wind up on the sale rack within a week or 2, I mean, I'm not talking 5 months later, right? But now they're sending me emails constantly. Next week, all women's sweaters, 40% off Tuesday through Thursday. All jeans off, 45%, next Monday through Friday. Every single week or 2, the Gap is sending me emails about sales to this day. So now, I still shop at the Gap, I love the Gap. But I only shop at the Gap if they're having a sale. That's it, only, right? Because I may not be the brightest person in the world, but I know enough to know that if I can get the same thing for 40 or 50% off, if I just wait a week or 2, I'm going to wait, right? So now what has the Gap done? They have taken their ideal customer. I mean, I was like a walking poster woman for the Gap, right? I love the Gap, I paid regular price, I didn't care. And now I only shop there when there is a sale or promotion. The third key is to have the right message. So I always say to people when I'm talking about having the right message, I say, how could you have, whoopsie doopsie, I got carried away there with my clicker. I always say to people, how could you have the wrong message, right? What would the wrong message be? So the wrong message is simply a message that is not relevant to your consumers. Because when we market ourselves, we tell people a bunch of facts and figures about ourselves, right? But it has nothing to do with us. we need it to resonate with them, right? Because it's all about the benefits to your consumer. So I say, if nothing else, if you remember nothing else about what I'm saying here this morning, remember this. All good advertising is about your customer. It is not about you. It is about your customer and what is relevant to them and what establishes the benefit to them of coming and doing business with you. So another thing that I see that local advertisers do, and please forgive me in advance if you do this, because it's not a bad thing, but I'm just going to tell you, a lot of local businesses identify themselves by, family owned and operated. Been in business 50 years, established 1982. So there's nothing inherently bad about that, but you're not telling people, what does that mean to them? What is the benefit of you being family owned and operated? Because by the way, if you don't tell them that, what research says when people hear family owned and operated is, they actually think, oh, you're more expensive, which you may or may not be, but that's where their mind goes, okay? So it's just really all about the benefit. You must establish the benefit. So here there are two kinds of messages. First of all, there's the branding message, which I was talking about before. That's the message that speaks to both your today and your tomorrow customers. That's why branding is so important, and it highlights all the benefits to your customers. So I say this is the why buy message, okay? And then there's the call to action message, and that is the special sale promotion, right? And that attracts your customers now. So that is speaking to your today customers only. So branding is speaking to both today and tomorrow, and call to action is speaking to your now customers, your today customers. So branding is the why buy message, and the call to action is the why buy now. But I also say that the branding is the why buy you message, right? Why buy you? Because, like I said before, there are other people in the marketplace that provide whatever the good or service that you provide, right? So people have to have a reason to come and see you, right? And so you have to establish that emotional connection between yourself and your advertisers, and your consumers. Okay, so as far as image and branding advertising goes, here it is. You need to tell people who you are. And when I say this, I'm really talking about you need to teach people how to feel about you, right? That's what that means. How do people feel about you? Who you are and how do I feel about you? How do I feel about BP Oil? Well, I know how I felt about them 2 years ago, right after the oil spill. I do feel differently about them now because now they've spent a lot of time, advertising to me and telling me what they've done in the Gulf region to clean it up and help the economy and, reestablish those businesses. So I do feel differently about them. But also, just like in our own lives, how you have a first impression, and you need to establish a good first impression, because if you don't have a good one, you can change it. But the amount of money and time and effort as a marketer, as a business owner, that you have to spend to change a bad impression, so you need to be out in that marketplace, establishing that positive connection between yourself and that emotional connection between yourself and your consumers. For sure, where you are. You need to tell people where you are physically, your location. But also your website, right? People have to know how to get to your website. And when they get to your website, it has to be easy to navigate, right? You can't have people going all over the website looking for what they're looking for, right? They don't want to click through 10 pages, trying to find what they're looking for. But more importantly, what you have to offer. Okay, so I say this. If I'm a furniture store and I'm, 10 miles down the road, and, somebody wants to come see me, what is it that will make them pass those other 3, 4, 5, 6 furniture stores on the way to see me? And then they'll keep driving the extra distance to come see me, right? What is it about your business that makes people bypass other businesses that do the same thing you do to come and see you, right? What is the differentiator? What is unique about you? What is your unique selling proposition? Call to action. Okay, so call to action, I've spoken about it before. This is really all about your on-sale special offers, why buy now, limited time, right? This is to generate revenue now. Again, the issue with call to action is you're only speaking to your today customer and not to your tomorrow customer. Okay, I'm not calling on you this time, Mark, I'm calling on you, okay? So I have an example I'm going to use. Don't be nervous, it's so easy. Okay, tell me your first name. Griselda. Okay, Griselda, I'm going to tell you now. Okay, so here's my example. I am a shoe store. Okay, so here I am a shoe store and I sell sneakers. So I am selling, some of the sneakers I sell happen to be Nike sneakers, and I am going to have a sale or promotion. So I have a pair of Nike sneakers, normally retail for $109 in my store, but for a limited time only, I'm going to sell those sneakers for $69. So what's going to happen?
You're going to sell a lot of sneakers.
I'm going to sell a lot of sneakers, right? Because now why? I have a brand, Nike, right? Nike spent a lot of time establishing how we need to feel about Nike, right? So since 1971, I've been looking at that swoosh. I've been just doing it. I don't even know what I'm just doing, but in those ads, those people look fabulous, right? They look healthy, they look toned. I have a really good feeling about Nike. So now I have a good feeling about a brand, and they're on sale. Wow, right? It's going to sell a lot. Okay, so here's where you come in with all that. Okay, so now I'm a store a mile down the road. I'm also a shoe store, and I sell sneakers. But this sneaker I'm selling today is the Griselda High Flyer, right? Any of you old enough to remember the PF Flyers? Remember? When I was a kid, we used to have you ride investor and Joe Tiger and PF Flyers, or whatever. Maybe that was an East Coast thing, I don't know. Okay, so I have the Griselda High Flyer. But before you decide which shoe you want to buy, I'm going to tell you about this particular sneaker. It looks really good, by the way. You know, it's very fashionable, it comes in lots of colors, so it's a good-looking sneaker. It is more lightweight than the Nike, so you're actually able to work out better and get more out of your workout because your shoe doesn't weigh as much. And the material this sneaker is made out of is much, much more durable. It will never rip, it will never tear anything. So it's really much better than the Nike sneaker. For real, it's much better. Okay, now that sneaker normally sells for $69, but for a limited time only, we're going to sell the Griselda High Flyer for $39. So what's going to happen?
By the Nike.
You're going to buy the Nike, right? Now, maybe her mother will buy her Griselda High Flyer, I don't know, or her neighbors, but, right? You're not going to buy a lot, and in fact, in my example, right, it really is true. She has a better sneaker. It really is better. But because people don't know who the what the Griselda High Flyer is, right? They have no emotional connection to it. It doesn't mean anything to them. The fact that it's on sale, you know, maybe a couple of people will buy it. But when you have a brand that people are comfortable with, familiar with, feel good about, and then they have a sale, wow. And again, in my example, it really is better. And so I know when I speak to a lot of business owners, they always tell me the same thing. They are so frustrated, right? Because they know they have a better product or service than their competitor. And yet they say, Michelle, you know, people are going to my competitor, they're not coming to me. And all I can say is, you know, you eat, sleep, and breathe your business. You are so familiar with everything that goes on in it, right? But other people aren't, right? So unless you tell people and tell them again about who you are and tell them how to feel about you, right, they forget. They just simply forget, right? It's not a bad thing, they just forget. So here's the thing. Image and call to action advertising, a combination of both branding and speaking to your today and tomorrow customers, and call to action where you're doing some kind of self-promotion to your today customers, that's the most effective way to advertise. But more than that, most local businesses just don't have a long-term strategic plan, right, in place for marketing, right? And that's what the key is. You just need a long-term plan. So if you think about the 3 keys as a 3-legged stool, you just need to have all 3 of these keys. You need to have commitment and consistency, you need to speak to the right audience, and you need to have the right message. And you need to incorporate all of that in some kind of long-term plan. Okay, so now having told you all of that, today I'm here because EntreVision actually, as a group of stations, have made an opportunity available to their local business owners. It is a limited time opportunity, so I'm going to tell you about it right
So
now.
what's the call to action?
This is my call to action.
I was waiting.
Oh, thank God. I didn't want you to be disappointed. I'm giving you the call to action. Wait, have I done a good job writing that? Do you feel good about EntreVision?
Yeah.
Thank God. Okay, so now here's the call to action. Okay, so, you're so funny. Okay, so here it is. Here's the call to action. And by the way, if anybody purchases, they become a member. Okay, so they'll include the writing and production of a radio commercial every quarter for you at no charge, and 1 television commercial for the entire length of your campaign. Bonus commercials. Okay, I just want to speak for a moment about bonus commercials. Here is how it works for those of you that don't know. You know, airtime is fleeting, right? You know, if it's 10 o'clock in the morning and they haven't sold that 30-second spot at 10:01, it has no value, right? Time's gone, worth nothing. You know, not like a pair of sneakers or something where you can bring it out the next day and resell it. It's gone. So what typically happens, the salespeople are out there, they're selling their airtime, but invariably, they don't sell 100% of it, and so at the last minute they scramble, and what do? They put a promotional spot in that empty space, or they'll put one of their national advertisers in that space, or one of their biggest local advertisers. So here's the key. If you become a member of this program, then you as a membership group now get priority. So when these bonus commercials become available, you get first dibs on them. So the bonus spots go to all of you first. And by the way, I want to say something, and it is very important. David made mention of it earlier when he did the introduction. But don't forget that Entravision is a local business in El Paso. They are local businesses as well. So honestly, they fare better when you fare better. So it really is a win-win for them, because when their local business community is doing well, then they are doing well. When McDonald's nationally is doing well, it doesn't really have that much impact on them. So, and also upgrades are included in it. Same philosophy, right? Upgrades are available, you guys get priority on it. And of course, your rates are protected for the entire length of it. So here, Mark, here's really your options, okay? You focused? Okay, the first opportunity is the bronze package, and that is comprised of 90 spots every month. 50 of which will run on Window Fox, and 40 of which will run on any one of their 5 radio stations of your choice. This also includes 150 streaming commercials every month among their FM stations. This has a value of $1,800, but is available now for $950, almost a 50% discount. Now the silver package is 120 commercials every month. It is a guaranteed minimum of 40 peak and 40 non-peak spots on Telefutura, and a minimum of 40 spots on one of the FM stations and 40 on one of the AM stations. And also includes the 150 streaming commercials among Jose El Gato and the Fox. This is normally $2,400 a month, and it's available now for $1,360. The next package is the gold package, and this is a guaranteed minimum of 40 commercials on Telefutura and 60 on Mundo Fox, and a guaranteed minimum of 70 spots per month on 2 of the FM stations of your choice, and 35 spots on one of the AM stations of your choice, and 150 streaming commercials also included, and a banner ad on Univision's website for the entire year. This has a value of $4,000, but is available now for $2,400. The last package, and I want to say there's only one left, there's a limited amount of all the packages, but we only made 10 of these available, and we've sold the other 9. This is the platinum package. This is a tremendous value, so if anybody can afford it and is considering it, I just say, you know, do it now because there's one left and it's a tremendous value. This is a guaranteed minimum of 10 spots every month on Univision, 30 on Telefutura, and 70 on Mundo Fox. It's also a guaranteed minimum of 40 commercials on each and every one of the 5 radio stations, 150 in-streaming commercials on among the FM stations every month, and a banner ad on each station's website for the year, Univision, Gato, Jose, and Fox. This is a value of $7,500 a month and is available for $4,800. I do want to put this into perspective. If you were to just go and buy one news spot on Univision, their least expensive news programming is $500 or $600 for one 30-second spot. So you can see that the 310 commercials are an incredible value. So I really want you to believe me when I tell you there is no gimmick to this, right? So just like I fly all the time with the airlines, and by the way, never in first class, never, okay? But I'm spending $500 or $600 on all my flights. I fly for business, I book a lot at the last minute, right? So I'm paying $500 or $600 for a ticket, and every time I'm telling you the person sitting next to me is paying $180 or $150, right? Because the airlines do an extensive analysis on their inventory, and they decide every year, we're going to sell X amount of seats at a deeply discounted rate, and then we're going to start raising the price. And that's just how it is, right? It's not a gimmick, it's not a trick, it's how it is. Same thing here. Entravision has done an extensive analysis on their inventory. They've decided we're going to give X amount away, we're going to sell, not give away, we're going to sell a certain amount of our inventory at a deeply discounted rate, and then when we're done with that, we're done, right? So we're going to set aside a certain amount to sell at a great discount, and then we're finished. So the key program is for a limited time. The time is now, and once we're finished here this week, it will be off the table until next year. So here's the part that's funny, to me, not to them. Okay, so here's the guarantee. You have a strategic marketing meeting at least once a month with the account director that invited you here today. So usually I make fun and I say, you know what, if you want to see Dave every month, it is his obligation to come see you. But you don't have to see him, okay? So if you say, Dave, please, this month, it's okay. He won't show up. But I'm actually kidding. But they're available for you, and they will come see you at least once a month. Everybody at the station, all the management is personally available to you. And of course, if those conditions are not met, we will refund in full that month's advertising cost. Okay, so now I've been talking nonstop up here for about a half hour. So enough from me. I'd like you to hear what some of their current clients say about Entravision.
Entravision Radio and El Paso Business, a winning combination. That's more than just words. It's action and results. Let's unlock the combination.
¿Qué tal? Mi nombre es Alberto Orozco, muchos de ustedes me conocen por Casa Nissan.
Hello, my name is Javier Garcia with the Telesby Company.
My name is Judy Pierce with Indulge Day Spa and Salon.
My name is Eric Alvarez. I'm the owner of Expert HVAC and Refrigeration.
When we started with Spanish radio, we have seen a number of people coming into our lobbies, different people. We know our members, so we know the ones that come in often to do or to ask for certain promotions.
Hemos tenido una buena relación entre Luz y yo, que viene siendo la representante del Teatro de Jazz de México. Ha sido una amistad increíble. Cuando nos acercamos, platicamos, siempre estamos hablando de cómo hacer las cosas mejor.
But when this opportunity presented itself, what really caught me was just getting your name out there, repetition.
And we've been working with Fox and Channel 26 for the last 6 years. They've increased our business almost 10-15% since we've been advertising with them.
It also has enabled us to really take our monthly specials and focus on those, whereas before, we had monthly specials, but we didn't really get them out to the community.
When we're doing the event, you can tell how many people Entrevision brought with the radio, the TV, and all the channels that have to communicate to your customers.
The lobbies have increased in volume, our loan volumes have also increased, and we're getting new members every single day, and so we know that this is working for us. So this has been a great way for us to advertise our business regularly, make us remember that we're, people are hearing about us every single day.
Y gracias al gato, nuestras ventas han aumentado.
You know, I do notice that people call because they hear us on the radio.
Clients call all the time and say, oh, I heard you on the radio, so I think it's been excellent for us this year. I would definitely recommend NRS to other businesses in El Paso and Southern New Mexico because we know it works.
Ponen el radio y aman los test drives, le ponen al gato o le ponen a José. So eso a mí me dice que ha aumentado las ventas gracias a José y gracias al gato.
So I can say that it does work as far as advertising.
Porque siempre hacen muy buen trabajo.
One Source will definitely continue with NRS into 2013, and we're hoping for an even bigger and better 2013. So it's good for us. It's been great. It's improved our business.
So we've been working with them for the last 6 years. We'd like to work with them another 50 years when we can.
Juntos, siempre juntos.
I would strongly suggest you work with Entrevision and work with us.
Yeah, I like where it's done for me so far.
Grow your business and put money in your vault. Experience a winning business combination with Entrevision Radio.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for your time this morning. You are finished with me, but if you will do us a favor, the account person will give you this form to fill out, very small, very little form, for your feedback on the program. And also this serves as your entry into the iPad giveaway. So you don't want to leave without filling this out because we will be giving it away after today, right? We're finished with our first week. So somebody will win an iPod. So anybody, everybody, thank you for coming this morning and I appreciate the time.